Welcome back to Troglodyte Horror and Cult Film Review. I am Loki Jesse, and here we have the final block of films from Lost River Film Festival in San Marcos, Texas, when I attended on sorry, when I attended on February 8th. And this was the last block of films I saw before I had to head out before it got too dark because I drove all the way from Laredo, Texas up there. So it was so much fun. I'll probably have pictures in the background of my time there, but great, so much fun. I really enjoyed it watching all the filmmakers and the films, and I was so shy to talk to the filmmakers and stuff. But totally great environment, lots of creativity. If you want to see any of these films, just go to the film festival. Well, go to any film festival, look them up, or look them up on YouTube. I'll probably put the description of each film on in the comments, no, in the show notes of this video. And I know right now some of them are already on YouTube to watch, and some of them aren't. But go ahead and check them out because these are really good films. And this next block is my favorite block because it is the horror stuff. And my God, I the show is called Horror and Cult Film Review, and these films were good. I gotta say. So the first one is my favorite, Mr. Mittens, directed by Glenn Maxwell. Super spy name, super cool name also. So it's about a cat that got its nuts clipped and goes psychotic. Super funny, super good. I love the aesthetics, the humor. It's a great film. You should you should search out this film, Mr. Mittens. It's hilarious. You'll love it. Next we have this was a premiere called It Draws Closer, directed by Joshua David Matthews. Would have been funny if it said David Matthews Band, the Dave Matthews Band. I don't really like. I never heard anything from the Dave Matthews Band, and if I did, I probably wouldn't recognize it. But okay, so It Draws Closer is a pretty good film. It's scary, not super scary, but it's scary, and I loved it. I totally loved this film. Next, I Was Gone a While. That is directed by Sarah Gaston, and that was pretty good. It wasn't too scary, but it was kind of scary and intense. And you didn't know what was going to happen. Like a lot of, not teasing, but just like a lot of, like, you don't want this to happen and you're just scared. So I really enjoyed this one. Next, we have Transmute. I've seen this one already 3 times, and it's left up to interpretation. I enjoyed it, but it's not till the end when you could kind of understand what's going on. So I don't get it. A lot of people do, some don't. I happen to be one of those that doesn't really get it. It's like I enjoyed it, but I guess I want more, or like more. I guess I wanted this to be spoon fed to me, but that's just my opinion. If anybody out there has seen Transmute, let me know what you think. Like, tell me what I am missing from this film. So after that, we get After Hours. That was directed by Natalie Grace Dorbert. Dalbert, I'm sorry, not mispronouncing. That was a pretty good film about, a janitor, overnight being chased by a creature. Pretty good film. Pretty scary. Had this like aliens vibe to it. I enjoyed it. It was fun. That is the second time I watched that film because the first time I watched it was in September at Cynthia's Horrific Women of Film in San Antonio. So that was a pretty good film. Next, we have Breast Stop. That's another one I saw at Cynthia's Horrific Women of Film Festival. That was directed by Kate Patterson. That's a pretty good film. It will make you not want to stop at Rest Stop, Seize the Restroom. It'll totally make you afraid. From that, we have Sway's Speed. That was directed by Luke Van Garza and Marta Louise Van Garza. So that was a pretty good film. Very intense. It's kind of like society horror or upper class society, I'll say it like that, where you have to fit in and be accepted by one's family. So it's pretty good. There's a lot left more for that film, but it's all right. I enjoyed it. Next, we have The Predator's Mark. That was directed by Jacob Mejia. That was pretty good. Pretty. I wouldn't say like well, it is kind of like found footage. Not kind of. It was found footage. It was pretty good. Left a lot to imagination. So it had used the Jaws formula where you don't see the creature, but it's there and you feel its presence. And they showed just enough of it to give you the frights. After that, we have the film The Space Between, and that was directed by Joseph Santa Cruz. And that's a pretty good one. That kind of felt like a Twilight Zone episode to me. It felt very like an anthology kind of a story, and there's so much in there to that one. I enjoyed that. Next, we have Garden Valley. That one that was directed by Manuel Navarro, and that was a pretty good film. I mean, it's pretty. It's a set in the 80s, in 1988, and it kind of gave this Night Stalker vibe feel to it. I enjoyed it. It's not, I wouldn't say a slow burn, but everything just builds up. It's like you're going on a roller coaster, and when you get to that point where the ride's gonna go down through all the loops and stuff, that's how this film is because everything is just building and building. You build with all the characters and the tension and everything until finally it just you know boom, you're just going down this long corridor. So that was Garden Valley, and that was the third and final block for the Lost River Film Fest for February 8th. A lot of great films there. These horror ones were pretty good. I cannot wait to see them again. Rest Stop, I know is already available on YouTube, so I will put the link in the description below. And if I'm able to find other links to any of these other films, I'll put them all in a description for not just this video, but for the video for the other films that I reviewed and looked at. So now that this is out of the way, let's go to the Q&A. Thank you everybody for watching this. Remember to keep on shining, and I'll be back again with more reviews because I wasn't just, sitting on my behind not doing nothing. No, I was watching films and I was writing down the reviews for these films that I watch. And I watch so many as I usually do, whether it's, you know, American, whether it's from the US, from foreign films, old, new. I see everything, or I try to see everything. So stay tuned for those. And thank you again. And here's the Q&A from Lost River Film Fest.
So the Q&A with all filmmakers and yeah, whoever was involved in the films, don't come out. All right, so my name is Fatima Hai, and I'm a filmmaker. I came out from Houston, and I've been to Lost River, several times. Sometimes as a presenter for my own films, and sometimes for Q&A stuff like this. So I'm actually in pre-production for my own film that will be shot late March, called Elif, and it's about a mathematician in the 1800s. So if you have any interest, come talk to me about it later, or just look me up. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the filmmakers here. Do we have any questions for Mr. Mittens? I'll start with one question and then I'll open up to the floor. Okay, so let's see. So I guess my first question was, what was some of the inspiration for the film? I know that there were some names listed at the end. So if y'all could, okay, so can you raise your hand if you're with Mr. Mittens? Okay, thank you. So yeah, I think I caught a few of the names there, right? Like so, um, John Carpenter, right? And so can you give us the whole list there that you had at the end? It went by really fast. Roger Corman.
Yeah, let's see if I can remember all of them off the top of my head. John Carpenter, Robert Rodriguez, Lloyd Kaufman, gosh. I can't remember anyone off the top of my head. The Asylum. I love Asylum movies.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I'll use another kid, Dante. Yeah, just B movies.
Yeah. Yeah, because when I was watching it, you could see a lot of those kind of, influences. Even before you put the names at the end, I was like, okay, I see a lot of references there. Okay, that was my first question. Did anyone else have other questions for Mr. Mittens? Yes.
So there's rules in filmmaking and like what to do, and there's a couple rules that are like really I'm scared to do. What was it like working with a cat and getting them to do all of those things? Listen, go from room to room, all of that stuff.
Wait, one second. Were y'all able to hear him earlier? Like, do I need to pass the mic, or could you hear him?
I can
hear him. Okay, then we'll just have him project a little bit. Okay, go ahead.
Well, some people work with PETA with their productions. We did not. We were not a union shoot. His contract was very long. We had very short filming windows. That's why we kind of had to go first take on a lot of those. We just kind of got what we got, and we just had to go with it. You know, it's hard making movies, but and working with talent like that, it's a little bit harder. But I feel like we did the best we could.
Is there a large cat in play?
No, I can't say. That's not legal.
Okay, is there any other questions for Mr. Mittens? Okay, yeah, that's good.
Was there things Mr. Mittens didn't want to do?
The biggest thing was he wanted only brown temptation, like cat treats in his bowl, like in the room. That was a really, really tough one to do, but on set, he was just kind of a menace, and just, like I said, just that first take, and you just kind of had to go with it no matter what.
Well, okay, it feels like, you made a real character that people really felt was real from all the questions you're getting. Okay, let's go on. And we could circle back. I just like to do things kind of in order because I get scrambled if I don't focus on one thing at a time. Okay, let's look at the next one called It Draws Closer. So can you raise your hand, whoever was with that? Is anyone here for that? Okay, if not, we'll move on to the next film. All right. So Sarah Gaston for I Was Gone for a While. So Sarah actually, she teaches acting and she was in one of my films earlier that we actually brought to the Lost River. But now she's doing her own thing and I've seen her, she's been posting that she's taken this on tour, won some awards and stuff, right? So I was really happy to see her on this lineup. So my question for you, okay, so you can see a lot of at least I did, some of the themes of abuse and capture. So like the sign, like the no outlet, the fence, the animals and the things that she had, in captivity and stuff. So all that, you can see the little elements there. So do you want to speak a little bit about your intentions with that? I mean, I felt like it was clear, but do you have anything else you were trying to, would you consider it like foreshadowing?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it was foreshadowing, that, in particular, like the spider web, the no outlet. But a lot of it just was based on my childhood. I mean, I was like just a free range kid, and like you went out and you stayed out all day, and then you came home at night, and you just were always looking for something to do or to see or to discover. I mean, I trapped beads in jars. I did all that weird stuff. But as we were shooting the things that I intended to shoot, that's when we came across great stuff like the no outlet sign, the fence, and the spider web. So you just started layering in those elements to sort of set up subliminally what was going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's great when you can roll with it, like the happy accidents, as they call it.
Yeah.
I guess I had one more question, which was, unless I read it wrong, but did she seem to be marked before she even left the house? Was that intentional, or?
Marked.
Yeah, like on her cheek, I felt like she had some marks, or was that just?
Oh, no. Just rosacea.
Okay, just sort of like, okay. I wasn't sure, because I was like, I thought there was maybe like a twist later where it's like that was the house where she was actually being, harmed, and she meets this guy. I don't know. I wasn't sure.
It was not meant to be anything that psychological.
Okay. Okay, any more questions before I was gone for a while? Yes.
How did you get the kids to act so well?
Really good casting. No, I have known them both for a while. So when I came up with the idea for the film, I had worked with Anna, who played Claudia, for about 5 years. Just coaching her and putting her on tape for auditions and things. So I had a rapport with her and I trusted her. One of the things that I always loved about her is that anytime I would put her on tape, she would just be a kid. She was never a child actor. Like when she was little, she would like pick her nose, like in the middle of a tape. And I just loved it because like that's what kids do. And so there was never anyone else for me. I was just praying that she hadn't grown up enough that she could be that age. And then David was much harder because I had a different look in mind. Much more like Billy on Stranger Things, And then this kid was in my acting class, and he's super sweet. He's nothing like that guy. But then I thought, wait a minute, he could work. I had him audition. He was fantastic. And then I also didn't know he had like a man's body. He does like gymnastics and train sports. So when he shows up in that tank top, I was like, oh dear, you're like a teen, but you're like a man. And then that just made it even easier. So I was super fortunate when casting because we had other actors who did it well, nearly well.
All right, let's go on to the next ones. Again, we can come back if there's extra time for, but I want to make sure everyone gets like a couple of questions for their film. Okay, so Transmute, is anyone here from that? Okay, so I guess my question was about the implications, I guess, especially because after the credits roll is when you kind of see the pictures leading up, I guess, to the incident. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So we kind of left that up to interpretation when we were making the film. We didn't really have a reason why she would go and do something like that. But it's based on a dream, so I went on the dream. He produced it, wrote it, I directed it for him, and yeah, it's like the second dream that's like super dark that we've done, made it to a movie. But yeah, I mean, I think it was just we didn't want to say he did this to her, and that's why she did that. So we kind of just doing it to whatever the audience thought.
Wow, I thought that was guts. I mean, well, now that you're telling me it's a dream, I think that's gutsy because, of course, I was sitting there trying to figure out what is happening, what is the rhyme and reason to this, and everything. So it was compelling. Like you're engaged, you're wondering what's going on. But I think that's interesting that it's a dream. Any other questions for Transmute?
I have a comment.
Yeah?
I just thought it was so interesting because my friend that I brought with me to watch the block, we're terrified of clowns. And, I don't know that I never thought of slitting one's throat, but I thought it played on really skillfully on a fear that so many children have, like that they're not these benevolent beings. They're something very inexplicable and upsetting. Anyway,
I love that.
Yeah. Any more questions on Transmute specifically? Okay. How about After Hours? Anyone here from After Hours? Okay. Yes, I recognize you now. Okay. So, were you the writer or director or anything? Because I know you're the actress. Okay.
And it was one of the most fun things I've ever done. Natalie Dalbert was 17 years old when she wrote that, and it was her for her application to film schools.
Oh,
And she
okay.
applied to a lot of film schools, got in all of them. She's at
Nice.
University now. She's 18 now.
Wow. Chapman, if y'all don't know, it's a big one, okay? To get no, it is. Yeah.
She is a phenomenal young filmmaker. So it was just a thrill to get to be in that.
Okay, and I noticed that it was SAG. Now that was that because, and I'm just getting like my feet wet with the SAG production. So was that you or anyone else on the?
That was because she did all the paperwork.
Yeah, but are you're a SAG actress? That's what I'm.
I'm
asking.
sad.
SAG eligible. Okay. Well, so the stuff I had was more questions for, I guess, effects creator, filmmaker. So for you, I'll open it up for if anyone else has questions about after hours for, I guess, especially particularly with acting because we have actors here. Okay, I have some because of it, because I know it has effects and stuff, right? So how is it working with, having to react? Like, how did you use green screen or what were some of the elements that you had to react to as an actress?
That was shot in a real candy store in Caesarville, Texas. And and that monster was really menacing and scary. She built that thing, and it was, I wish you could have seen more of it in the film because it was this huge thing. Paul Bloodgood, who is he's a lot of the not walkers, but he's a lot of the monstery people on Walking Dead. He was in there. He's a ballet dancer, has been for 20 years, so he's really strong. That costume was very heavy, and and he's really strong to hold up the head of it and everything, and he had to take some brace, but that monster really was scary, so it wasn't too hard to act.
Wow. So you're saying Natalie made those, like she designed it and built it? That's amazing because honestly, like nowadays, there's so much CGI, AI, and stuff. You don't know what's happening. So
real. There was no green screen.
wow, that's pretty impressive. I think that's amazing. Okay, any last question for after hours before we move on? Okay, anyone here from Rest Stop? Okay, so first of all, I guess my question is, which rest stop did y'all use just for the production side?
Well, the exterior was a rest stop, like on the way to Fredericksburg. The interior was actually shot in San Marcos at the LBJ Museum. Okay. So the inside of the bathroom and the outside of the bathroom, very different places.
Sure. Mm-hmm. I thought I recognized. Well, I probably didn't recognize outside. I think there's a few that look similar to that with the star and everything. Okay, that was the first thing I had. And then. Yeah, and at the end, I guess I was wondering about the makeup effects. So, who was like your makeup artist? And because that was very, very elaborate.
Yes. Yeah. Her name's Crystal Barsonis. She's based in San Antonio. This was actually her first time doing like special effects makeup. And she,
wow, first time. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
first time.
We did like a trial run, like a week before, and she was like neon green, and I was like, I don't think that's the right green. So we went back and we were supposed to have some other people on set like helping do the full body paint, but it ended up basically just being Crystal. So.
Wow, because that's a lot to do, a full body thing. Any questions about Rest Stop? Yes.
Did you use AI to make any part of the film? No.
Wow, this is great. I'm happy to hear that because I think generally Lost River, they're very independent and stuff, so I wouldn't expect them to have a ton of like AI stuff, but you never know. I guess if there aren't any other questions, I think I might have blinked or something. So when the guy was in the stall next to, that was you, hey? Okay, when he was in the stall next to you, I think it took you like a few minutes to kind of go on your business and then realize something was slightly off. Can you explain that like reaction? Because I felt like it took a bit of time. Like, what did he actually do? Did he throw something?
He like there was a needle. He like stabs her with this substance that like.
Yeah, I thought that's what happened, but I was like, because it took a bit. Like, if someone, I guess, if someone's tapping the nail, I'd be like immediately, I guess. So for the character, it was like it took a little bit longer.
Yeah, I wanted it to be like she barely noticed it. Obviously, so it's like
Okay.
I was like, it's like a bee sting. Like you just brush it off, like nothing new about it, and then
Okay.
it gets slowly like her legs. It started on her leg, so where it started, and then she like got the shakes, passed out, basically. So
Okay, so it was more like, oh, that was weird, and then you're like, I don't know what that was. Okay, and they go. Okay, any last questions before we go to Sui? Yeah.
Sorry, my question's gonna be weird because I don't remember the movie, but I saw a film that reminded me so much of that one, and it was I think you might know the name of the movie. We watched it like a few weeks ago, but it was like from the UK where a guy goes to a gas station with his girlfriend and they're on a road trip, and then she disappears inside and he can never find her, and it's like I was just wondering where the inspiration came. Huh? Event? Vanishing, yeah, I think so. Maybe.
I mean, I don't think I've seen that one, but maybe there's something
I was
else
just
out
wondering
there.
where the inspiration came because I was like, I wonder if it had anything to do with that movie either. Like,
not initially, but I think I did pull some like clips from that movie when I was like thinking about production and stuff. But no, I stopped at a lot of rest stops when I was in college. I like drove back and forth from my house all the time. And I would often leave my phone in the car, and I was like, no, maybe you should stop doing that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So you wrote it and directed it and acted in it too?
No, I did not. No.
Oh, okay. I didn't recognize like if you were the actress in it. Okay, so you're the writer director.
Yeah.
I get it. Okay, now Subid, who's here from there? You guys. Okay. So can you? I know that's a culinary term. Can you like explain to us what that term is? Just remind us.
It translates to under pressure. It's from French. First putting a piece of meat is put into a plastic bag, sealed, and then
Okay, so it's like that process. Okay, I've heard it, but I didn't know what I can remember what it was exactly. Okay, any questions about sous vide? That's the one with the restaurant, the cooking, the funeral.
I want to say
Yeah.
shout out to one of our producers, Jackie Rail,
Oh, okay.
also the mother of the screenwriter.
Oh, okay.
Oh
Nice.
yeah,
Yes.
I think a restaurant in Austin. When did it restaurant? That's an actual French restaurant. It's a absinthe bar and restaurant. Yeah. And we are good friends with somebody who's good friends with you. Wow.
No, we were just lucky. And we couldn't get in until 2:30 in the morning because, bars started, they had to clean and close up and we had to be done by 11 a.m. So it was overnight, it was crazy. We did the whole thing in that time. But we were very lucky. It's a beautiful restaurant.
Yeah. Old French. Exactly.
That bar is just so beautiful.
Wow, so that's like related to, the location. So my other, I guess I just noticed the vocals and string, like who did the vocals on the closing credit song? That was pretty cool.
I am in love with the music. Our cello was by Danny Duckridge out of Paris, and our vocalist was Elise out of Boston. She's a vocal teacher. But the song you're hearing is called
Yes.
Kulning. And the Kulning is an ancient melody that the women would sing to draw in the cattle. So every woman that sings the Kulning sings it just a little bit different. It's almost like elegant yodeling.
Yeah.
And so that was her version of the Kulning, and it just gave me goosebumps. So.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed the cello. I mean, I didn't know it was Parisian. That's great. But yeah, the vocals really stood out to me. I was like, that's very cool. And it went really well with it. Any other questions on the sous vide?
So,
Yes.
So what was the meat?
Well,
Like on production, you're saying in production with
for real. We tried 5 or 6 different things, and I'm not real sure what our chef finished up with. It was either a really, really white pork, or it was actually white meat.
I think it was.
It was pork.
Thanks.
I think we didn't know. He picked. He was the master.
All right. So let's move on, and again, we can come back if there's extras. The space between. Oh, I'm sorry. I did one on the bottom of this page. Predator's mark. I think everybody who was with that film left afterwards. Maybe. Okay. No, because and we're sorry that there was the glitch. It happens sometimes. So we don't have questions that we can ask them. I guess you could contact them online or something, and if you had any. Let's go to the next one, the space between. Also, we have, this was the one right before it got fixed and we came back to it. So anyone here from the space between? Oh, okay, there you go. Okay, so the beginning wasn't cut off, right? I mean, it started kind of abruptly, so I was not 100% sure. That was the first frame we saw it from the beginning. Okay. Let's see. I guess I did have one question. Like the first kind of demon that she sees, that's maybe, I don't remember if I got the numbering right, but there was one that was more in shadow, and then there's the other ones that were kind of like the people that were dead. Was there a difference between them?
No. She just sees ghosts.
So one was just kind of like a shadow. So it wasn't like supposed to be distinguished as in something like as a different type or anything like that.
Nah,
Specifically,
it's
okay.
more of like a malignant spirit that, latched itself on her and wanted to kill her.
Okay, and then let's see. Any other questions for the space between?
I do.
Oh, you please.
That's not a question, but a comment.
Hmm.
Major cheers for having the other character try on less. I thought that was a really nice step. You could have left it with just her, but training that, just kudos. That was great.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it let us as an audience kind of be like, is it her or is it the object, right? Any other questions for yes?
Yeah, where did the idea come from?
So when I was writing it, I think just like I had the generic idea of this ghost following somebody home with a jump scare. And then I was like figuring out like, well, why does this ghost follow her home? And then I kind of drew inspiration from John Carpenter's They Live glasses. So I was like, oh, cool. Instead of glasses that you see like capitalist aliens with, you see, I guess you can just call them capitalist ghosts.
Just people.
Yeah, okay. So that's where I got inspiration with the glasses. And then once I figured that out, I was like, okay, this is why this ghost follows her home, because she can see her and like draws her to her. And then and then the actress Stevie, the lead actress, got involved with the project. And so the script wasn't quite finished before I presented it to her, and so I was like trying to think of a way. When I write horror films, I like to just like I think of it as like you can tell the story without the horror element, and it would still be a good story. So that was important for me to figure out. I was like, what is this actually about? And I was like, oh, it's about a girl mourning the death of her sister and the guilt and stuff like that comes with it. So once I figured that out, the whole script just came together. The horror element was pretty easy to just drop in there.
Nice. Yeah. Is this for this film here? Okay. Good.
How do you get the film to possess our system?
I'll tell you later.
Okay, and then the final film, Garden Valley. So I had like a billion notes on this one. I felt like this was this is you?
Yeah.
Okay, so I felt like this was, it was slightly longer, not that much longer, but it really felt like a feature. Are you going to make this into a feature eventually?
Not necessarily. Originally, it was supposed to be like a 2 or 3 part
Okay.
narrative of that whole world and that actual semi-based true story. But yeah, originally the idea was that, and it's still a possibility. We're working on a short that kind of like jump springs into potential second part.
Okay, because the pacing of it, I felt, was very relaxed. It was like we were going really deep into these characters. They didn't feel superficial. When you got introduced to them, you got into the whole world. Music was a huge part of it, right? 70s, 80s music and stuff. So what was the artist that you had? Lex Diamond.
Lex Diamond was
yeah. Who is that?
So they're based out of LA.
Okay.
They're like real infamous in San Antonio. Like back in the 70s and 80s, it was DJ that basically brought them up to like rock level status in San Antonio.
And every once in a while, they'll come here every year. Like in the last couple of years, they came here for Fiesta, performed.
Nice.
And a couple of years ago, I outreached to them. Well, I reached to the co-founder, Roger Romeo, and asking about who is your publisher, so I could like get in contact with them, get the rights, festival rights. And he goes, we own our publishing rights, and if he wants, use that song, Woman, any other song he wants. So we have a good rapport.
Yeah.
Last time I saw them, he was like, "Where's the movie coming out?" Takes a while, but yeah, we have a good rapport socially, so that's good.
That's great. I felt that San Antonio vibe. Yeah, and I worked with a local band too somewhere else. But yeah, it's great when you hit on that. Any questions for Garden Valley? That last film that we saw. Yeah. Go ahead.
How did you get Killing Time?
Same process. We always the publisher. Now we went straight to the publisher.
Yeah.
We got the festival rights, and the way it's the way they set the cost is based on annual terms, and also the moment of the time you're gonna be using it. So I think we got 45 seconds for 1 year. Festival rights only. You can use it for distribution or $1,000 for the year.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to learn sync licensing the hard way and made lots of errors. And then when you find out how much they charge per, every second counts, and then every the duration, and then the distribution also. It's not necessarily you can put it everywhere. They're like, okay, you're allowed to just show it at festivals or whatever.
So
but it can be done.
Was for music rights.
Yeah.
There was a couple of songs that we needed to get rights for, so we we gotta redo it every year. So it's a good thing.
Any last questions for Garden Valley? Yeah.
That getting the rights for the music and stuff is really, really important. I'm the writer producer for Transmute, and the original song when I had the dream was in Rose, but in English version like I got out of Valley. But in order to get that song, I had to research, and I got the research, and I finally found it through a proposal from Mike, and we just couldn't afford to have that song.
We almost got Iron Maiden, but I solicited so much in the pre-production that it was a year after we started filming, and I had already lost that window trying to get one of their songs. Because originally we were trying to get it's out of the first album, Strange World, in the party scene, but it just fell apart. And they were from the UK, so it was just hard to get back in that same window. But
just to follow up from Sonny and I remember partying when I was in high school, July finance, and all that.
Wow, that's amazing. I had never, but it sounded great. And I like the film. Really, the characters, I really felt that they were not stiff. They were very real to me, and they were the jokes, the little hiccups and stuff. It was very smoothly done. Any last questions? And now that we can go to any film. If you want to go back to a previous film, we can do that.
It's not so much question that it was just a comment for all the filmmakers. We did different film festivals together. Some of our films have been in different film festivals. Cinema Festival, Horrific Women's Film Festival, Sacred Underground. So congratulations, for filmmakers.
Yes, thank you. If there's no last questions, we'll let you go. So is that it for everybody? Okay, and of course they're here for, I'm sure, a few more minutes. Come talk to them afterwards. Okay, so we'll conclude this session, and we'll see you at the next one.